ASML is a phenomenal company and has been on the leading edge of high-end compute for a long time. We're talking a decade now, and it's clearly on the leading edge of AI. So when a great company like that gives you a shock warning, and we're not talking about a little bit of a miss, but talking about a declination of roughly 50% in orders, you have to take notice. And you have to wonder whether or not there was an overenthusiasm in terms of ordering. Need to see where it lays out. And we've got Taiwan Semiconductor also going to markets. We'll see what they have to say. But it's clearly a note of, let's step back, understand whether or not there was an overenthusiasm not only by investors but by the industry in investing in the space. And I think the significant call-outs of both Samsung and Intel pushing out, those are the two competitors that probably need to get the most advanced in terms of manufacturing capabilities, and they're the ones that are stepping back. So it's causing, I think it needs everyone to cause a reassessment of what's happening in terms of high-end compute demand.
But George, I mean, that's the thing, right? This wasn't to do with AI. I mean, what ASML warned on and why they cut their guidance was to do with non-AI chip demand.
Right. Well, it's just a replacement theory, right? And so there was a notion that AI was going to build upon everything else. Well, is it or not? And what are we seeing in terms of legacy demand, whether it's mobile phones or not? And we saw that we see the Apple moving back on 17. But is AI not an addition to what we've seen in high-end compute? Or is it a substitution? And if it's a substitution, that's going to cause everyone to recalculate what their expected growth is for the entire technology market is.
Whether it is software, hardware, the chip ecosystem, are they all in some way at the sharp end, given the outcome on November the 5th and this entire battle for technological leadership between the US and China?
I don't know that the November 5th election, the November 5th is going to matter, because it is bipartisan in the U.S. that the U.S. will restrict high-end technology. That's been a feature of both the Republican and the Democratic sides. The intensity around that language may differ, but there's no question that under the Biden administration and the Trump administration, protecting high-end technology has been a critical focus. It's a national security focus, and I don't know that that'll change.
If it is Trump, but by order of magnitude, 60% plus tariffs on China, 10% on the rest of the world, that is going to be quite a negative game changer.
I mean, here's the thing. I mean, it makes a difference, right? And I would suggest that, most of your clients and people we meet out here with regards to November 5th, their worries around Trump are basically, A, two things, right? A, tariffs, right? And B, also, look, in terms of partnerships and allies in this part of the world. I mean, on tariffs, it makes a material difference whether they're talking about a continuation of Biden policy or Trump saying, look, in terms of China, or for that matter, look, we'll just ring fence anything that comes into the U.S.
And to be fair, I was referencing only the restrictions on high-end technology. High-end technology is going to be gatekept by the U.S. With respect to the broadening of tariffs, there's no question that Trump will be much more aggressive with respect to that, and we certainly saw that in 2016 in launching that. The one thing to note, and what I would share is, and look, we won't know until it happens, right? But Trump's previous practice has been to negotiate, to be very bombastic, and to negotiate deals off of that. And so I think the rhetoric is certainly explosive. I don't know if it's necessarily responsible, but we'll see where it comes out. The reality may very well end up being a little bit more balanced.
So